What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW videos. We have had such a busy day in Pokemon Go. We just got the announcement that a Generation 5 legendary Pokemon is going to be released into raids throughout the month of November, and that Pokemon known as Cobalion. We ended up getting a little bit of a hint tweeted out by Pokemon Go before the announcement went live. Turns out that's what it's going to end up being, so we will have a couple of other Pokemon potentially follow after this one. So we're going to be doing a deep dive on Cobalion, taking a look at it from the rating perspective, from the PvP, should you unlock a secondary charge move, and then of course so much more. I'm very excited to go ahead and cover this Pokemon, and you are going to be up to date on this topic. So if you do enjoy it, if it is helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Cobalion. With a max AP of 3022, Cobalion is a dual-type Pokemon of Steel as well as the Fighting type. We will, of course, take a look at it from both of the perspectives, but I do think the moveset is really going to kind of predict how we will end up using this Pokemon if you choose to do so. So let's go ahead and take a look at the stats first, and we'll go ahead and see what we're kind of working with. As far as the overall ranking is concerned, that's definitely going to be solid if you take a look at just that. And then when you take a look at the defense, that's actually very good, ranked out at 25th. And then when you take a look at the stamina, that's honestly not too bad, ranked out at 102nd. But unfortunately, when you take a look at that attack stat at 192, it's not looking good. We have a rank of 212th when it is related to that attack stat, not even crossing that 200 number, so that is going to be a major red flag, at least for me, in relation to how I would potentially see value in using Cobalion. So let's go ahead and move on to that moveset. As far as the movesets are concerned, we do have a couple of stab moves where we have Metal Claw, Close Combat, and then Iron Head in this case. But unfortunately, we're only going to be able to get that double benefit off of Metal Claw and Iron Head is honestly not that great of a move, and unfortunately we don't have any type of fighting type quick move, so it is going to be a little bit difficult to look at it from that perspective. Anyways, let's go ahead and run a couple of raid simulations. I actually thought it would be a lot of fun to run it up against a couple of the Regis. So the first one that we're going to take a look at is versus Regice. Now in this case, I wanted to just kind of condense it down to a couple of the talking points. Number one, Metagross is going to be the number one option that you would want to use versus a Regice. But in this case, as you can see, that time to win is 930 seconds and only 27 feints. But when you go ahead and take a look at Cobalion as far as using that double steel type, and then also using close combat just because of the mixture allowing that to happen, you're seeing the time to win be over like 500 seconds more than what Metagross has. And what this equates to is them being extremely, and I mean extremely low on the list. No thanks to that attack stat. I think that is really holding back this Pokemon as far as rating is concerned. Now let's go ahead and see if we will get any better results when we go ahead and head against a Regirock. Once again, we are going to see Metagross in at that number one spot with a time to win of 917 seconds, and it's not getting any better really for Cobalion in this case. We have that time to win right around 1500 seconds, so it's roughly once again almost 600 seconds behind Metagross. So in this case, Cobalion is not going to be something that you would want to use from a raid perspective. I think that that's really going to relate to, number one, the moveset. The moveset just, crushes it. But then number two, it's going to be the actual base stats. If it doesn't have good base stats, it's just not destined to necessarily do good from the raid side, unless it gets some type of exclusive move that is extremely good. But unfortunately for Cobalion, that is not the case. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the PvP, because we are going to get at least some better results. Now, as far as the rankings are concerned in the Ultra League, we do see Cobalion in at that number 115 position. That's not that good, unfortunately, but good news is that it does get better when we head over to the Masters League. As far as the ratings are concerned in the Masters League, it does get bumped up to number 87. That's still really low in that case. And then at the same time, you're talking about a legendary Pokemon, so to be able to get that candy to, of course, power it up to its maximum potential is going to be fairly expensive. And for those of you out there who are looking at potentially going into the Great League, it can technically get there as far as its CP is concerned at $14.99, but the IVs would have to be a 000 to make that happen. And because of the trade floors being at a 111, unfortunately, Cobalion cannot get into the Great League until we end up seeing it for special research. So what are my thoughts on this Pokemon? Well, number one, it definitely looks really cool, and I think it is going to be hyped up. I think a lot of people are actually going to want to go out and raid it because of it being the first Generation 5 legendary Pokemon being put into raids. There's a big excitement factor to it, but for me personally, I'm going to kind of avoid this one. I will still do some raids, but I'm going to look at it as more of just a resource where I'm trying to go for rare candies, charge TMs, fast TMs, things like that. I'm not necessarily looking for Cobalion to be the Pokemon that's going to be good from the raid side or from the PvP. Unlocking a secondary charge move, that's going to be a big no. Powering it up, I personally think that you should not, even if it does crack into the top 100 on the Masters League. There are clearly some better options, and some that are going to be honestly much cheaper that are non-legendary Pokemon, but that's just how it ends up working out. But that does not mean that the other members of the Sword of Justice are not going to be good just because Cobalion isn't. So make sure that you are staying tuned when we end up getting those Pokemon released on the channel. Anyways, let's go ahead and end on a question of the day. Despite all of the information that we have, are you still excited to go ahead and do the raids for Cobalion? Let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. If you want to develop a deeper connection, I would highly recommend you to check out Patreon. We've got a lot of really cool things going on over there. Check out all of these supporters that we have. We are almost up to 100. We are also posting some special content, some behind the scenes work. And if that is the type of thing that interests you, I would highly recommend you to check it out.